In this lesson, we will learn how to take a very short backswing and still hit the ball quite far. That is exactly the main topic of our video today. And with that, I'd like to warmly welcome you to my YouTube channel. Who am I? My name is Philip Gimberg. I have been a PGA teaching professional for 16 years and I teach golf every day. Today we're talking about a topic that actually accompanies me every day as well. Because today is all about gaining more distance through a simpler, shorter backswing motion. And that's exactly what I would recommend to everyone. Today it's about one thing, and shout out to Ernie, one of my golf students, because today is about one thing, how you can hit farther. And most of my golf students want to hit farther. And most of my golf students want to hit farther by making an especially big backswing. And then, quite literally, they get in their own way. Because if you swing back too far, you need an enormous amount of energy just to get the club back into position. And that energy is then lost at the ball. If the club swings slower, your ball will take off more slowly. And you won't be able to hit as far. That essentially means it is much more important to me personally that you focus on hitting certain key positions very cleanly, so that in the end, you will find that you can actually hit the golf ball much farther than you ever could before. Make a short backswing and hit far. That's the topic of today's video. And to make all of this work, of course, there are a few key points that need to be met. You need the correct stance width, and you need the right position of the right arm in the setup, in the basic posture. And last but not least, you need the correct backswing. And I want to go through all these points together with you today. And at the end of the day, you'll make a short backswing, but the ball will be hit really far. Today, we're starting here on a par 5. So let's see, how many meters is it exactly? It is 472 meters long. And of course, I have my trusty driver right here in my hand. Enjoy the game. Short backswing and long drive. That's today's topic. And that's a really successful start. Looking at the way the ball is traveling through the air right now, I can already say with absolute confidence that this particular drive is definitely not going to be much less than a full 300 yards, which is quite an impressive distance for anyone to hit on this course today. So I've arrived at the ball. There are only 155 meters left. That means the drive was over 300 meters long. Of course, at the end here, it goes a bit downhill and then a bit uphill again towards the green. So that naturally helps me hit a bit farther. But nonetheless, it was, even for me, a really, really good drive. And accordingly, greetings go out to Didi, my golf student. He found another little gem for me, a driver that I can work with very well. Nonetheless, today is about a completely different topic. Today is about making a short backswing and hitting far. And an important basic requirement for being able to make a short backswing and hit far is the correct stance width. I would like to ask you to always try to stand a bit wider than shoulder width apart. Why? The simple reason is that it allows you to move nicely to the left with your belt buckle, your lower swing center, the middle of your hips without losing your balance. If you were to stand relatively narrow and push your pelvis to the left toward the target, you would end up on the outside edge of your left foot, which would lead to instability. What would your subconscious say? Well, it's quite simple. It would tell you to go back to the position where you are standing correctly again. And that would be this position here. But then suddenly my sternum would end up to the right of the ball. And to put it simply, my sternum is responsible for where my club makes contact with the ground. And the only way, well, to make clean contact with the ball would be to swing from far outside. And I definitely can't recommend that if you really want to hit the ball far. That's why you should first work on getting the correct stance width. Make sure you stand a little wider than shoulder width, because then you'll be able to position yourself far enough to the left to, now pay attention, here it comes, approach the ball from the inside. Exactly. And the second point that will really help you approach the ball from the inside is having your right arm well positioned in the setup. Why is that? For a very simple reason. If, as a right-handed golfer, you rotate your right arm outward in the setup so that it looks like you're about to donate blood, then your right elbow will be in a position that allows you to land here, and especially here, during the swing. And these two positions are extremely important in order to be able to approach the ball from the inside. What do I see every day on the range? The following. Instead of being in this position, the elbow is in this one, and the backswings usually look like this. And that ends up right here. And that is, once again, very, very inefficient when it comes to the topic of distance. So please pay attention to your stance width and the position of your right arm before you focus on the only in-swing thought. because then it's about the backswing, about the short, compact backswing that will lead to more distance. All right, shot number 2. I've chosen an 8 iron here. It's 155 meters uphill, but yes, that's definitely doable. Let's go. Unless, of course, you hit the ball a bit thin. Nevertheless, the ball is on the green. Yes, that was very, very lucky, I would say. So, right here, this is the crucial putt for eagle. Longtime viewers of this series, or those of you who often end up finding my channel, will already be very familiar with my standard putting routine. I come over here and take 2 or 3 measurements in the middle. I try to feel how the break is. I sense that in this case, it should go in this direction. Where am I standing? At the 3rd toe of my left foot. That means the ball should be break about 3% from right to left from your perspective. Then I take another closer look at the area around the hole. And I remind you, that's what I wanted to say. And I remind you, please click the subscribe button right away, because only if you click on the subscribe button and the bell right next to it will you be notified when a new video goes online. And now it's all about getting the ball into the hole. It's a putt uphill and it breaks 3% from right to left. So that's actually quite a bit. Now, based on this information, I hold up 3 fingers to the right of the center of the hole. And then I basically just need to get the ball into the hole. Just push it in. I didn't look for a pitch mark. Hopefully, the reason for that is self-explanatory. The ball was hit so thinly that it landed 20 meters before the green. And honestly, that doesn't look too bad at all. And with that solid putt, big shout out to the team at Even Roll for the support. The putter is extremely good. Even Roll ER8, I just really like this thing. Short backswing, long shot. Now we come to the absolutely crucial and fundamental element that really and truly matters most in order to achieve precisely that specific outcome. Short backswing and long shot. That is the primary focus and central theme of today's video. And it's simply about making sure that during the backswing, building on the setup that I just mentioned earlier, you only need to think about placing your left arm here during the backswing. What is here? Here, 0 degrees is the ball target line, and here your left arm is placed at 30 degrees to the ball target line. And that's extremely important. Your left arm is only parallel to the ground. But from this position, you'll be able to accelerate the club tremendously. And if you focus on just moving the club to this point, I can guarantee you'll end up a little higher as well. But what's absolutely crucial is that the left arm is placed at 30 degrees to the ball target line. Most golfers who come to me have the same idea, but then they take the club back even further, which means the left arm is no longer at a 30-degree angle to the ball target line. And then you first have to find your plane again. And all of that comes at the expense of club head speed and distance. So instead, make sure to simply bring your left arm right here, 30 degrees inside, offset from the ball target line. That would be the ideal position for the left arm. And from this position, since the golf swing is on a plane, you'll be able to move your hands to continuously accelerate. And ideally, your hands are moving 6 times faster than your body, but only if they can swing to the ball from the correct position, from the correct starting position. If you're too far forward and up, then you can either come very much from the outside and pull your arms in during the follow through, which also isn't exactly helpful for more speed, or you can try to get the club back into position with some strange movement. And I can promise you, that's also not really helpful for more club head speed, more ball speed, or greater distances. That means instead, just make sure that your left arm comes to this position, 30 degrees inward, offset from the ball to target line, and feeling like it's just parallel to the ground. A short backswing and hitting it far, that's the idea. That's why this is the topic of today's video. And that's exactly what I want to demonstrate now. And I'm only holding a pitching wedge in my hand. That should be enough though if I hit the ball cleanly. The ball position is in the middle or just slightly right of center, and I'm just making sure that my left arm comes to this position. Exactly 30 degrees to the ball to target line. That was a really good contact, although I can't say the same about the direction. Nevertheless, the ball is lying right next to the green here. So yeah, I'll take it. What else can I do? So this is the situation I find for us. I've decided to go with a 9 iron. Why a 9 iron? Because I have enough space on the green to let the ball roll. With the sand wedge, I have a 1-to-1 ratio when it comes to flight to roll phase. That means if a ball flies 2 meters, then under normal conditions, it will roll another 2 meters. With the right technique, of course. With the pitching wedge, I have a 1-to-2 ratio, meaning if the ball flies 2 meters, it will roll 4 meters afterwards. And with the 9 iron, I have a ratio of 1-to-3. And that's why I think the 9 iron is ideal here. Why do I choose the 9 iron and not, for example, the sand wedge? For a very simple reason, namely because it can certainly happen that I don't hit the ball perfectly here either. Although the ball position is truly excellent. If I hit the ball badly, at a lower club head speed, significantly less can go wrong than with a sand wedge. My backswing is relatively flat, so I stay close to the ground. The ball is positioned at the right foot, shot 2 on par 3, but it's too long, it's too long, it's too long, and it's too long, and it wasn't played well. And that's why an old saying comes into play now. Who is the best friend of the birdie? Exactly, the bogey. Even so, despite the challenge, I'll do my absolute best to successfully sink this crucial par putt right here on this green. It looks like it should be a break of about 2%. From left to right, the chip just wasn't played well. I simply missed the landing spot. Maybe I was just too focused on the hole itself. When chipping, it's always very, very important to pick a landing spot and really focus only on that. Because subconsciously you play to where you're looking. So a putt for par on the par 3. It breaks a little away from the hole, and there it is. The bogey. In closing, as always, I want to sincerely thank you for watching. As I already mentioned, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the bell. And I wish you lots of fun trying out this technique. Try it out on the driving range, but also on the course, because it will simply make your game easier. And in the end, it's all about playing golf as simply as possible.